Fraudcast. It's a weekly session that Vito and I host for folks in the e-commerce, fraud, and risk space, just to get together to talk about what you guys are dealing with in your queues, get advice, and hear what's going on from other people's perspectives. We have a really great group of people that join us every week. We love when you guys share your stories, bring us your questions. We talk about a specific topic every week. However, if you have something specific that you're dealing with in that moment, that week that we're having a fraudcast, or something that, has been on your mind for a while, this is the space where you could bring that and we could talk about it. So I'm hoping today, with, the onslaught of Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming on, you guys probably have a lot of thoughts and things that you guys are thinking about and dealing with going into that. So please feel free to share. Vito has a little bit for us prepared, but otherwise, let's just chat about what is on your guys' minds today, kind of going into Cyber Week and all that. We do record these sessions, so just keep that in mind as you're sharing. If you're able to, please be on camera with us. We love to see your beautiful faces. If you're not, that's totally cool. You could just listen in the background. With that being said, I'm going to hand things over to Vito.
What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. You just talked about beautiful faces, Gena. One of my favorite faces just came into the room, even though it's an emoji form. Here it is, coming on camera. Mr. Ryan McDonald, it's been way too long, brother. It's great to see you. Me and you have a lot to talk about, by the way. We do, and that's for another podcast. But great to see you. Great to see everybody else. It's like Gena said, it's a little bit of a different thing. We're all kind of either feeling the pressure of what's about to happen, but also feeling maybe, as Matthew talked about earlier, the pressure of 30 people showing up at the house and like this huge turkey you got to cook. And when do I do this thing? And I just want to sit around and watch the games and that. It's good pressure. It's bad pressure, but we're here together. I am so grateful for you. I was going to save my gratitude spiel for the end. I'm going to do it right now. None of us ever dreamed of being here. Like born, I don't know, on this earth, maybe, but like in this little like fraud world, in e-commerce, all this stuff. We're going to talk a lot more about that in a second. Certainly never dreamed of being on a podcast from the front room of my ranch in Texas while my dog is licking my toes. That's kind of weird, gross to say. But all of this, we never dreamed of it, but I'm blessed. I really do feel absolutely blessed that we get to have this little family here. I had a mentor, I think I've talked about this before, back in the day, who used to tell me about all the rotten things on earth. And it would go on and on and on about how rotten the earth is, and life is. I said, so what's the solution? And he told me, you need to build a world of your own with the people that you actually care for. And that is the world you worry about and think about and concern yourself with. And this is that world for me. So I hope it's not, I hope you have a much bigger world than that. I know y'all do, but I'm just glad you're part of this little world that we've put together. It just means a ton to me. It is something I look forward to every week. There's no sponsors here. I'm waiting for the Bridge Corporation to come through and sponsor the Fraudcast so I can get my nicotine pouches for free. Bridge, if you're listening, I'm here. I'm open, baby. I'll do what you want. But there's no sponsors here. We really don't get paid for this. So it is really just, it does my heart good. And I hope it does your heart a little good too. So with that being said, thank you. I love you. Thank you for coming out. Let me show you a couple of things that I've been thinking about and some things that I think might be fun to talk about today. How do I do this? Maybe one day I'll learn. There it is. I share this button here. Boom. Okay. So, welcome to the Fraudcast, right? You know the deal, right? We've been having so much fun in that side Slack. Come on out. I think you're all in it. This is the inner sanctum right here of Fraudcast University. We've got the chancellor and everybody else here. Gena, you're the chancellor. So there you go. Everyone is here who knows this already. So if you haven't joined already, we do see some new names, like Gena said in here. Katerina, what's going on? Riley, how are you? Welcome. Come off mute. Come on camera. Tell us about what you've got going on. Join the party. It would be a great time to have you. This is all I really want to talk about today. How are you doing? It's nobody talks enough about how, I don't want to be too like Debbie Downer, how kind of, how much of a real pain this time can be in the fraud fighting world. Queue-based work feels like almost inhumane sometimes. You're just sitting around and you've got this like sort of Damocles hanging over your head of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, and it's your responsibility to figure out whether it's good or bad. And you are like the oracle at Delphi here. You're entrusted to know on a gut level the precogs in Minority Report, if you remember that movie. You're sitting there in your vat of milk, and you're supposed to know whether or not something's going to turn rotten. And then you do this over and over and over and over again. I'm there. I'm still in it. I'm with you. It's tough. So I just wanted to let you know this is what we're going to talk about today. How are you doing? But also, I wanted to talk about this, and I've got a thing I want to share. How do I share this? Oh, jeepers creepers! Look at this. Okay, I can put a poll up right now. Right? Can I do that? Yes, I can. All right, here you go. Let's see if this launches. Are you an ex-emo kid? I think so. I know that some of you are gonna. Yeah, there's. Oh yes, yes.
Is there a refuse to admit button?
Paula, I'll let you go on this one.
We're not ex-emos, we're elder emos.
Elder emos, emo emeritus, however you want to put it. And I'm firmly in the oh yes column. And if you choose to opt out, I think I made this mandatory when I made the poll. But I'm an ex-emo kid, right? I know some of you, at least 5 of you are. And I've just noticed something. I'm like, there are so many ex-emo kids in e-commerce. It's wild. Maybe indie could like fall into this too. Maybe if you weren't so emo, but you were a little indie. Maybe if you had one time owned fingerless gloves, or maybe if you had like the swoop going on, like even if it was just for like a semester of college, like that's cool too. I wonder what that emo to e-com pipeline is all about. I'm no sociologist. I know we've got sociologists on the call too, so maybe they know. But I wrote a blog about it today. You might want to check it out. That's like all of the shameless self-promotion that I've got. That blog also deals like what's going on lately in Vietnam. By the way, 5 out of 13 respondents said, "Oh yes, they are emo kids." So we've got plenty of emo kids here. But before, I don't want to spiel it up. I want to just hang out with y'all. We got Caroline's here from the UK. Okay, we've got people here from Canada. We got a lot of people who aren't like technically celebrating Thanksgiving, but I'm just glad you're here for the party. How are you? How's work treating you? You don't need to get into details, but I'd love to hear if, there's anything we can help with, we could talk about. It's just a fun time. I'm going to shut up and take a sip of my water. We don't mistake silence for antipathy here on the Fraudcast. That's the tattoo that we have on the back of our eyelids, right? I remember I've been doing this now for like what? Everyone says, I've been doing this for 10, 15. I've been doing this for 40 years, guys. And, I just know each time this rolls around, I get a little pit in my stomach, right? For what we're about to see and what we're about to do. I know so much has changed, and I know y'all are like, in essence, the brain trust of like e-commerce fraud protection. So I'm thinking maybe is there less stress or more stress this year? Because we figured out so much from a technological standpoint. We've automated a lot of things, maybe. We have a lot more tools at our disposal for those manual things we do. So maybe our work has gotten a little bit easier, but then there's those like unknowns. Everyone's always talking about the agentic stuff and all of that, and like what's going to come with these bots and all those kind of things. Is it less stress? Is it more stress? Is it the same old, same tune, different words kind of stuff? I just love to like hear how you're doing there. And again, more water for the big boy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lynn here. I am very nervous about this coming weekend. We're on a new platform for our brand, and we don't have a whole lot of tools in place for fraud, and we don't have a whole lot of staff. So, we're not seeing a bunch yet. I hope it continues that way, but I think I'm going to have a few sleepless nights coming up. Just keeping an eye on things.
Lynn, let's hope that you can sleep the sleep of the just, because you've got the right people around you today. Lynn, as you mentioned this, our good friend Jessica Flores magically appeared. Jessica, how are you? Jessica's also going through the same thing, Lynn, right? Where you've got a new platform, you've got all this going on. Jessica, first, how are you? Second, what would you say to Lynn right now, given the uncertainty of what's about to come and the super uncertainty of having a whole new tool set where, it's like trying to walk around with a pebble in your shoe. You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Lynn, I definitely understand the pain of all of that. I would say first thing, make sure you have something that gives you peace. So once work is over, you have a way to kind of decompress. I think where we're at this year, same thing, new platform. And I'm really nervous as well because I know there's going to be a lot of reviews, as I'm not able to really go into all of the orders since I've been doing order review since it's getting busier. Um, it's going to be interesting, but I think if you just kind of have the have the mindset of like just put your head down and work when you're at work, but when you're outside of work, you got to kind of do your best to try to like forget it and know that no matter what we do, we're never going to stop 100% of fraud. Fraud is always going to sneak through. We're always going to have to tweak this, tweak that. So, with the new platform, just look at it as a great way to refresh. You could see what's happening. And so next holiday season will not nearly be as bad. But right now, you're kind of training the system to be able to do and work how you need it to work. So I wish you the best, and I'll be right there with you. So, yeah. Wonderful holiday season.
Indeed. Thank you.
Lynn, we've all got thick skin here. How do you feel about that? I think Jessica's got a great point, right? The work-life balance and making sure that you have a little bit of zen, maybe some zen if you'd like. I don't know. But like, is that enough for you? Or are you like, well, hold on, like there's, how do I write a dang rule in this thing? Or like, how do I see where the IP addresses are coming from in this thing? Is there more that lies under the surface for you, or does that kind of do your heart good?
Oh, and it definitely does my heart good. And I'm not gonna overly worry about it. I can only do what I can do, and other members of my team can only do what they can do. So we're just going to take it one day at a time and do our best to make sure that the orders that are going out the door are all good orders, or as many as we can possibly manage.
Goodish. We could deal with
Yes.
goodish,
Yes. It's not life or death.
You know what? I like that, right? We've got running water. Maybe I hope you do.
Yes.
I've got running water. I don't want to brag, but like we've got running water. My power was out this morning. It's back on. You see me here. So some of these little things are good, right? It isn't life or death, and we're not digging post holes, right? One of the things that got me over a real existential crisis when I started was the phrase redefine failure, right? And that is a phrase that just popped in my head. I don't know, maybe from the paint chips that I ate as a child and it's finally like coming back to me. But redefine failure. And, are you really failing if you approve that order that somebody files a friendly fraud charge back on? Are you really failing if, you decline something that was really fishy, but then someone calls in all irate? Like, you don't want those things to happen, and you want to do really well, and you're perfection driven. I think we all are, but you're not a failure. No man is a failure who has friends. If we remember that from It's a Wonderful Life, right? And your friends, for better or worse, are all right here in this Zoom room. So I don't know if I made it any better there. I'm sorry. What do y'all think about this? The whole redefining failure bit, especially. Matthew, I know you came off mute. Jared, you're just one of the most positive people I've ever met. Emma, I know you've been through wars on wars. Shelley, you wrote the damn book on it. And by the way, I'm ready to ghostwrite that book for you if you want it. What do y'all think about kind of failure, that F word, in terms of like what we're about to go up against? Because you want to do well, you want to do great, but you also don't want to screw up, and you want to look really cool come Q1, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're a true emo kid and you're through being cool. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that.
I don't know. The only F word that I really recognize is fabulous. So we're going to continue to just be fabulous. There you go. You can throw in fantastic if you want to. Those will be my second and third favorite F words. You can guess my first one, but that's fine. But no, I think you just have to take it. We can never catch anything. Nobody can catch anything. Nobody's perfect. We just keep doing what we do and show them that we're here for the long haul and we're doing our very best with the tools that we're given. I haven't talked a whole lot about it, but I'm taking this season in our apparel world and I'm telling them I'm letting the system fail so they can see that I have need. I've spent X amount of hours manually reviewing and sending invoices. I spent 2 hours itemizing somebody's account today. How much do I get paid an hour? This is way below my pay grade. Get a system that does it. And so we have to do a CEO report out every week that says, hey, here's something maybe it's business as usual, but hey, here's something that maybe he wants to know. And so he's going to find out how many hours I spent doing manual processes because the company refused to pay for a system for me. It will, let's say, go in my favor. But this is the world I live in. Perfect. Okay. And so I just finished doing one right now and I'm reviewing all of these apparel orders. Our sales started for members on Friday and the entire website is 50% off. And then it dropped to the main public on Monday. So if you ever want any Peloton gear, everything's really, really discounted right now. Like almost the entire website is 50% off. But if you place an order over $1,000, I will be scrutinizing it.
Let's all pitch in and make Shelly do some more
Right.
work so she can document it and get what
Thank
she
you.
wants out of all of
Yeah.
this.
But we've gone through and we've blocked people because of concerning return history, and we're monitoring that. But then we're monitoring all incoming over a certain threshold. And this is how I'm spending my entire week. I could be using it doing something way more productive, but I have to prove to them this is where it's at. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm just looking at it and saying, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And the work that I'm doing is valuable and it will add value eventually. Maybe some people don't see it right now, and that's fine, but they will eventually see it. I think that's the problem with how the world that we live in is that once we get higher, not a lot of people see where the value is added because they get kind of lost and they don't see the trees for the forest. So the bigger picture is, yeah, okay, it was $200,000. And yes, $200,000 is a drop in the bucket, but we lost it and we didn't have to. And that's what I'm trying to point to everybody is you didn't do anything to stop it. So you left the safe open with the money sitting there and a giant blinking sign that said, come take me, come take me. Maybe just lock the door. Try that, for instance. So that's kind of where I'm going. Anyway. I'll leave it up to everybody else to be fabulous.
Amen, amen, amen. There's so much to pull from that. But I love the fact that you have a clear, you said that the clock is ticking. You're on the clock, right? We're not beholden to this, as indentured servants by any means, right? How are you spending your time? Is it the most expensive invoice that has ever been created in the history of mankind? Perhaps, and then you're able to show that and say, did my work. Here's what it took. Maybe we need to rethink how we do things. And like Shelly said, a system is only as good as the people who bought it and what their intentions were around it. And if it was set up for failure, well, no matter how brilliant Shelly is, or fabulous, or all the above, she cannot possibly do everything and be omniscient, omnipresent, and all of that. And like Jared says here in the chat, this is maybe the most humbling thing you can think of. And maybe it's a little bit of an ego check for ourselves. No one is actually paying attention. It's okay to fail. All the stuff we worry about kind of means nothing. On that
We're the only ones looking at it. Nobody else is going to see that we failed. Come on, let's not lie.
Turn your mistakes into mystique, right? Turn those mistakes into mystique and don't look at the ones that don't have any sort of mystical value to them. Ryan, I got to pick on you, brother, because I miss you. I mean, your world goes beyond fraud and your world goes into even like hairier things. And I don't think there's any rest in your world? There's no peak season even. It's all just peak season, right? If everything is in bold, nothing is in bold, right? Do you feel like things ratchet up a little bit at this time, or is it always just kind of nonstop? I'll add a caveat in here. Coming from law enforcement, the holiday season was always a kind of peak season of bad things happening because you're mixing family, which is a volatile thing. It could be a very beautiful thing, but it's quite a volatile thing with obligation. Matthew put it best. Like, I just want to chill out and do nothing. As a kid, I was always fighting my parents to stay home Christmas Day. I don't want to go to my aunt's house. I just want to like sit in my pajamas and play Sega Genesis, NHL 96. I was nasty with the Canucks, by the way, in NHL 96. Pavel Bure, what's up? Right. So you're mixing all of that with alcohol. And it always proves to be a good recipe for crime. So I don't know. Are you feeling anything like that, or how you doing? Really, is my question for you in a long TLDR. How you doing?
Great. No, great, great. Actually enjoying day one of a little PTO action, but as you know, sitting right here for the fraudcast, but the emails are still coming in just because people don't stop being people. That's what I've learned. People don't stop. And I know this time of year, something I've been looking at is like the challenges with contentment and instant gratification. People are, negating traditional ways of celebrating the holidays in pursuit of the best deal possible, and it's this hairy, gross rat race, which leads to keyboard warriors, which leads to online threats made, which means brands are getting hit at 2 a.m. with a angry mom's Twitter post about how Target did X. It's people don't stop being people, and that's the one thing I've learned. So I just try to be as supportive to all my customers if they need help with building certain queries or looking at searches. It's like let's take a look together. What are we missing? And the one thing I've learned, Vito, the big mic drop takeaway is I usually have no idea in hell how people are actually talking about things. It's just a bunch of rocks. You got to turn them all over, look at them, and you're usually surprised every time. So it's definitely an on edge kind of season, especially, and not even factoring in the political atmosphere as well. It's extra interesting right now.
Well said. And as always, I think if you could steal time with our friend Ryan, not just from a professional standpoint, he does very cool work, but he's got just a very great way of looking at things. But you all know this. You hang out with the guy every Wednesday. We're all friends here. But yeah, it's a volatile time, and I don't know when it's not going to be. It's one of the things that scares me. We're moving outside of the realm of e-commerce here and just into the broader world. People being people. Now, Ryan, you're on PTO and you're being a very good boy and coming out to some sort of like Zoom meeting. But I feel like sometimes when people have free time, that people becoming people thing, they really become people. If you know what I'm saying, in the pejorative,
Boredom.
it's a scary.
Boredom is dangerous. It's so dangerous. But I've also found, like, on this own personal journey of self-awareness and enlightenment, is like the challenges of being content with contentment.
Yes.
Like knowing that like you're in a good spot, things are okay. You shouldn't be waiting for another shoe to drop. If it happens, you're prepared, but just kind of being present, not being so like preparing for the next step or retrospectively looking at what happened. So I found that's kind of my own personal challenge this year amidst all the craziness of people being people. It's like, how do I just be present? And what does that mean? You know what I mean?
I think that speaks to Lynn's concerns earlier. Lynn, if I know that can't really help you figure out the new system so much, but maybe being present around the new system and maybe just kind of taking a little bit of Shelley's advice and saying, well, this is the system. It's how it works. And I'm just doing my best to take it all in right now, instead of that like clenched jaw, clenched fist, like, what am I gonna do? How do I figure this out? Like, I'm not saying that you are clenched jaw, clenched fist, Lynn. I know you're much chiller than that. So what do you think about that?
Well, another perspective, in the vein of nobody's really looking. Nobody's going to be really looking until the chargebacks start rolling in. And if you look at your holiday perspective of good orders go up 7 to 10x and your bad orders go up about 2x, from a ratio perspective, as long as you're working on the low-hanging fruit, it's not going to look terrible from a percentage perspective. So keep that in mind before you stress out.
That's good advice. Thank you.
That's great advice. I mean, always Blaze, always with it. Do low-hanging fruit. Do the easy stuff. Low-hanging fruit all day. Don't jump through hoops to figure out some wild $20 order. Like have fun with the big things and keep it easy. Is this just hot air, Lynn, or is this like
No, decision it and move on.
moveon.com, right?
Keep it moving.
Part of Thanksgiving is inviting new people to the table, right? The children perhaps graduate from the children's table. I'm still stuck at that children's table. I've been trying to get out for years. We do have some new people here. They're not children. They're very much adults, right? I hope, I don't know. This is a family broadcast. Katerina, Aurelian, I've seen you here before. I've seen your name before, but I'd love to hear from you. Becca is always here. Becca's part of the family, but Riley, you're new. Welcome. Would just love to hear your voices and see where you're calling from and what's going on, and maybe share your favorite emo tracks from back in the day. We're talking a lot about saves the day in the chat here. And your boy went to Rutgers in New Brunswick, where the band was from. And I was like, just obsessed with that band. Shoulder to the Wheel, great album. So I don't know, newbies, new folks, welcome. Would just love to hear from you real quick and say hi. They might be from Springfield, Jared. A true New Jerseyan just thinks that everything is from New Jersey, which is a part of the thing I've tried to have surgically removed from me. And I guess it just keeps coming back. But yeah, I'd love to hear from the new people. Riley, I don't know if you're there. Aurelian, Katerina, what is up?
So Riley might be driving at the moment, but he
Don't
is my
come
new
off mute.
he is my new fraud analyst. So he's going to be in the gift card. Well, he is in the gift card world, and he's already been taken over quite well. So it's nice to have some new blood right at the start of holiday. So
Let's go. What a lucky guy or gal. I'm sorry.
yeah, lucky guy.
What a lucky guy, Riley, to learn from one of the best to ever do it, honestly. And Paula, you don't need to be self-deprecating. You know you're damn good. So Riley, kudos. Welcome to the craziest game in e-commerce. I think between what you do in gift cards and then what Jared was doing in marketplaces, there's no wilder fight than that stuff. So kudos. For everyone who is not new, though, back to the crew here. We're talking about acceptance and we're talking a lot about graduating. I'm just curious, 2026, right? It's almost like I'm talking like it's the Christmas episode, which we have a very special guest for our Christmas episode who will be calling in all the way from Ireland. I'm very excited to talk about that one. But we got 2026 on the horizon. How do you see your professional self changing in 26? I mean, we're all trying to provide for our families and put food on the table. And, this is a pretty good gig. It's not really quote unquote going anywhere, but we do know that a lot of the things that we do are changing pretty rapidly. And every idiot that has a podcast or whatever is talking to you about AI and like all these things kind of like moving at the breakneck speed is going to change the whole. Do you feel like your jobs are going to change? Are you looking perhaps for like a new kind of purview or like new responsibilities? Or are you just like, hey, I don't want things to change. I like things the way they are. And in fact, Vito, they ain't changing, man. Like there's way too much crazy stuff going on right now for this to ever evolve or go away. Would just love to hear about that, perhaps, or anything else. I watched that movie with Jonah Hill, War Pigs, War Gods. What is it? War something. Who knows it?
I think it's War Dogs.
War Dogs, War Pigs. That's Ozzy Osbourne. Generals gathered in their masses. Yeah, I watched War Dogs and I said to myself, dang it, how do I make millions of dollars really quickly? Does it involve me going to Austria and being held hostage because I'm trying to sell Chinese ammunition to people? Do I have to do that? I love this job, but we all want to like make a little more money and perhaps get to hang out more with our dogs and family, or maybe we don't. Just love to hear where your heads are. Maybe you've got some sort of like pipe dream that relates to government contracts that you can take advantage of. I don't know. What do you think?
Vito, I think confidence and higher learning education are going to be key this next year. I mean, I talked to some very, very bright people on this call, customers I work with, like very, very smart, experienced people, who looking at their dossier, you'd assume they have the answers. But I'm just finding across the board at every level, customers are dying for guidance on like what's real, what's not. Like if you look back 5 years, people were so quick to like, oh, I'm a seventh inning stretch buyer. I'm good at research. I have all this knowledge. But now people are starting to catch on to the fake, the misleading information, the scam. Like people are just starting to become more aware. And so like there's less of an engagement and more of a desire for that human to human interaction just to ensure that like, am I crazy? Am I okay for feeling this? So again, kind of back to people being people, but just in my conversations I'm having, people that are 20-year intelligence veterans are still like, how do I handle this? And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of step up and just be those individuals more, and make sure we can guide and consult rather than just inform and give a decision.
You made me feel good about that. Right? Because we're lifetime learners. That ain't gonna change. I think everyone on this call is just like an information freak. Like the more the merrier, bring it on. I want to read it. I want to, dive into it, dig through it. And if this world just keeps going into, the realm of like false promises and AI slop and all like the kind of like garbage stuff, more and more you're going to say, hey, I just want somebody to consult with me who has a heart and half a brain. And like the bar gets set pretty low. I think we have a lot of consultants on this call, to be honest with you, in terms of like what y'all have taught me and what especially about whether it's e-commerce, fraud, or just people buying crap online and trying to get it for free in general. So, we have people like Matthew who says, my 2026 challenge, learning how to use my abilities and blending those with automation learnings. Like that's kind of are we talking like Cursor here? How many of y'all are playing around with Cursor? I mean, that's some wild stuff. I sound like a real grandpa. You seen this Cursor thing? It's crazy. It takes over your screen for you. So that's very cool challenge. Jared, I know your lips are sealed, but it sounds like you're getting very techie. Have you felt like you're becoming more techie, or were you always that techie and now you're just finding a new avenue for it in the creation of something that will go nameless?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've always been techie, but like I never used it for like anything worthwhile. It was just for my own enjoyment. So like this will be the first time. I mean, I'm just like learning how to not only like develop a tool, but like launch it. Like, okay, how do people open it? How do people use it? That's the hard part. I have no idea. So I'm just like figuring it out.
The wonders of UX. And I'm to cross the bridge to Matthew. Have you found that you've become a little bit super powered with automation and like AI tools at all? Or is it kind of just from scratch, or like from the fundamentals? Have you been empowered by this AI revolution that we're living in?
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% like the AI part definitely helps me. Otherwise I gotta go like find someone to like take the time to meet with me to build stuff. But like with AI, I'm like, how do I do this? And it tells me. So yeah, I'm just taking like existing knowledge from fraud and then like building it into this tool. So I'm excited.
Matthew, Jared, Matthew, I think you've got a friend indeed here in terms of like, and Jared, I've just kind of Vaughn told you there, but y'all are great people. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, let's lean on each other as much as possible. There's so much to learn. And I think if we think about a fraudcast happening in a Thanksgiving of 26, God willing, and the creek don't rise, right? I think we'll be talking about people who are doing a lot different things, and probably are off to different pastures and maybe working from home more, Emma, or less. I don't know. Matthew, what's up?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've got to work on and I've got to get better at in 2026 is having my castaway Wilson moment where I'm letting go of the volleyball. And it's because I'm finding out that the things that I've learned over the years, I'm having to let some of those things go because they're no longer at the forefront of fraud and investigations. And so I've been reluctant. I've been defensive many a times, about it, because it's nice when you're looked at as the expert, subject matter expert. But now I'm having to let go of some of that stuff and replace it with stuff that's really AI based. And so my challenge for 2026 is to really try to navigate a world where I'm open-minded, I'm not defensive, but I'm also solid. You know what I mean? Like trying to find that blend, because in my world, you have people who want extremes. We dance on extremes. Well, but our world is more a blend. You know what I mean? And so trying my best to approach 2026 and all the AI based things that everybody at the C-suite level here wants so badly, everything to be kind of automated. And, you feel like you try to get into that realm of trying to justify your existence, and then trying to explain, hey, look, there's got to be a balance, there has to be. So I think for me, it's going to be that, through 2026. I'm going to have a lot of humble pie that I'll probably be eating as I grow through 2026.
Well, hopefully you get to eat the pie without any pesky people coming over to bother you. You get to just do it from the safety of your own living. But I think that's such a vulnerable and beautiful thing to say, Matthew. I think you've really struck to the core of all of the challenges we have in tech, right? You can't possibly even claim to know everything, but you know a couple things, and you know which way the wind is blowing, which is probably the most important thing right now. Being that humble, being that open, is, I think, the real power. I think Ryan would agree with it, right? Like just kind of coming. I'm not just advertising Ryan here. Ryan, I'm sorry, I'm picking on you, man. I just missed you, dude. But like anytime I've ever talked to Ryan, he's always just kind of been like, hey, I actually don't know. Like I feel this, I've heard this, I've seen this, but like I'm curious. Ryan's always just struck me, not in a bad. My grandma always say, "You're a curious boy, Vito," and that was a bad way. But Ryan's just always been a good way, curious guy. So use your curiosity, your humility, and all that, and use your cast of characters here, and I think you're going to be great. I want to pause at this juncture as we're about to say goodbye, and I want to give the microphone to my friend Gena. Gena, you've been doing this for a year now. We don't hear enough of your voice. It could be an airing of grievances as well. You can tell this whole podcast community, fraudcast community, about how annoying I've been and how much you are looking forward to not seeing me for a few weeks here as we go on vacation and stuff like that. Gena, Mike is yours. What's going on with you in Thanksgiving?
Oh man. Well, yeah, I guess I just really love that we get to hang out every week, guys. This has been an awesome journey that we've been on for a whole year. And for those of you who have signed up for a little gift, that's coming your way very soon, to celebrate our 1 year anniversary with us. But truly, I'm super grateful that we get to do this with you guys every week. You guys are, I don't know, I get inspired by how much you guys want to learn and help others. In these sessions, when people bring questions or you have your own and you guys are all jumping in to help, even though you guys are not coworkers, you guys have never met outside of this little Zoom room. It's really inspiring to me. So I hope you guys just keep on doing what you're doing. And I get inspired by it. And I love to be part of it every week. So excited to keep on doing this with you guys. And I'm not going to complain about you being No, I'm not going to do that. It's been a lovely journey with you.
It's been a pleasure to call you a coworker, a friend. And Jen and I have spent a lot of time in Zoom rooms with no one else around before you all showed up. So thanks for lighting up our screens, our hearts, and our lives. I just wish you and your families a blessed and safe holiday. Take an Uber, my friends. Take an Uber. Don't do anything silly. Take an Uber if that's what's going on. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean, right? Thank you for taking any time out of your calendars with all the stuff you've got going on to just hang out, and just know we're always here for you. Like Jen said, we're absolutely always here for you. Everyone here is always here for each other. That is proof enough of some sort of divine power and beautiful stuff in this universe. And in a very ungrateful world, there's a lot of gratitude that comes out of this room every week. So I thank you for being part of that journey. I wish you and your family nothing but the best. Overeat. Enjoy yourselves. Have a second helping of mashed potatoes. No one counting calories this weekend, all right? And we'll all jump back on our Pelotons when it's all said and done, right? So much love. Have a great one. Enjoy the time off if you get it. If you don't, we're here to fight with you. Be good. Thank you so much. Y'all are the best.